Hi dancers, welcome back. My name is Nefabit. Welcome back to another tutorial. This one is a requested video. For some of you that saw my stomach flutters tutorial, you asked me to do belly rolls as well. So let's get started. So let's begin with the stomach. Hopefully you've already done a little bit of warm-up and a little bit of preparation. The biggest thing that people have to get used to when they start to learn any stomach isolation, but especially a belly roll, is to relax the abdominal muscles. So you might, as you generally stand day to day, you might have a little bit of tension here, which is good, but to belly roll you actually have to relax that. And the second point is, like most dance movements, you still have to maintain your posture, particularly in the lower back area. If you're released into a normal standing posture, you're going to feel some impingement and pinching here, and it's going to push the stomach forward, which isn't necessarily what we want. We want everything to flow inward and be able to press outward. But we also want to reduce the movement in the back because we want this to be different than an undulation. It has to be isolated. So we're going to drop our hips down just like normal, lift up through the hip flexors, and lift a little bit through the chest, just a little bit. Oh my gosh. I hope you can't hear my dog right now. Anyway, very distracting for me. So we're going to just think of bringing the rib cage over the hip bones and tucking up. So think of making a square. I believe we talked about this in the flutter tutorial, except that for flutters you do slide the rib cage slightly forward. We're not going to do that today. We're going to keep the ribs directly over your iliac crest. So you should feel that lower rib floating right here. So if you see it from the front, you should be able to draw a square, and seen from the side, it should be a straight line. All right? And then plie a little bit. I know you can't see my legs, but plie, bend your knees a little bit, and squeeze in your glutes to help brace the lower back, again, so that we don't get any reaction here. We want everything in the belly roll to be completely isolated. So, first things first, we have to learn how to move the abdominals all together. Most people don't have success if they just start immediately rolling. So what I want you to do is either stand like this, or you can practice sitting down, and I'll show you that later. I like to put my hands on my hips just because it helps me be aware of my hip movement. And the first thing we're going to do is pull everything in as much as we can, and then we're going to push out. Embrace the Buddha belly. So remember that this is the muscles pushing out. A lot of people really cringe when I ask them to do this, but this is an important part of it because we want to create contrast to the movement. All right? And pushing the abdominals outward is an important part of that. So we're going to do a few breaths. We're going to come in and out. In and out. When you come in, think of drawing the belly button back as far as you can. And when you press out, you can mostly just relax, but add some musculature to it, and also think of pushing from above the belly button so that we don't get this. We don't want to direct the energy in the belly down. We actually want to direct it out and almost upward. We also want all of the muscles here to be flexed, so there's actually tension here. And then when we pull in, you can do a vacuum belly like you did for belly flutters. You can. When I do my downward rolls, I do like to sort of start it with a moment of belly vacuum, but you absolutely do not have to do that. So practice that a few times. These are exercises, you don't have to do them all in one go. You actually want to work on one exercise, kind of master that, come back to the other one, and continue on from there. So, sorry, I'm stepping on things here. So, once you've practiced this and you feel confident with it, we're going to add another element. We're going to start isolating each set of abdominals from the other one. Most people find that the top of the stomach is the easiest part. So for here, I like to just barely relax my ribcage a little bit. Vacuum if you want to. If you don't know how, you can go to my flutter tutorial, or you can skip it entirely. Regardless of whether you're doing that or not, you're going to squeeze just the upper abdominals. So I'm relaxed and squeeze. See how weird that looks? Because my lower belly is still relaxed. And then out. You can use your breath with this a little bit. You can exhale and think of letting your ribcage follow the movement. So the inward movement goes directly back. And then release. We usually find the most mobility here because this is the point in the body where we actually hinge the most. If you're going to bend down and pick something up, or if you're going to do something, there's a lot of mobility right here. So generally speaking, we have some range of motion. We also have a lot of organs down here. We have organs up here, of course, as well, but I find that it's harder to move down here. But that's just my experience. Tell me what you find easier. Is it easier to engage the upper, the middle, or the lower? I'm curious. So let's move on to the middle. So we want to think of drawing the belly button to the spine, but here's the catch. We want to try to not pull the rest of the abs with it. So this is the one I find to be the hardest, personally. And I don't know if it actually matters or not, but I had an operation a long time ago, and they have a mesh behind my belly button. And I don't know, I just feel like my movement is very restricted right here. But that could just be the way my body works. So who knows. But regardless, I'm going to give it my best shot here. I'm going to pull in and release. Pull in, release. It's very subtle on me. In, release. In, release. In, release. So like I said, that's not my my good spot right there. Now the lower abdominals, this is what I usually hear from other people that they find to be the hardest, because we really want to try to work the abs directly in between the hip bones. So what I like to see is, I don't like the belly roll to stop here, so we don't want to just go here. We want it to go all the way down. Or if you're starting from the bottom, you want to start as low as you can. So that means that we have to engage the lower abdominals. And if you look at a diagram of your abdominals, the lower set is a little bit different. And it can be harder to engage there. And there's also less hinging that happens at that point because we have our pelvis here. So anyway, I'm going to get a little bit closer and show you, hopefully you can see, because it's right below my belt line. I don't want to pull this down any lower, but you're going to squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release. So work on those first two exercises, for a while. You're more than welcome to, of course, try them all at once, but I find that people have success when they start with the moving all of the abs together and then isolating them, and then continue on from there. So once you feel confident with that, now we're going to start trying to think of oppositional direction here. So we're going to pull in the upper abdominal, and we're going to push through the lower abdominal, and then reverse that, and reverse, and reverse. This is kind of a weird angle because the camera is a little bit lower than my stomach, so hopefully this is looking okay. But push, reverse, reverse, reverse. If you feel the need to breathe with this movement, that's okay at first when you're learning it, but you do want to get to where you can just breathe normally through this movement. And we'll do it a couple more times. And remember, there's going to be ever so slight reaction, maybe in the back, maybe in the chest, but you do not want to bend or release in your spine. All right, so that's exercise number 3. Okay, so number 4, the next one we're going to do is we're going to start passing from one section of abs to the next one. So most people, are going to find it easiest to start at the top and roll downward. Again, let me know which one's easier for you. What set's easiest to isolate, and which direction is easier for you? Do you like down to up or up to down? I think the weird thing is, I think when I first started belly rolls, I could only go upward, but now I actually feel more comfortable going downward. So it's a fun thing. Everybody's a little bit different. But when we want to start here, go ahead and try it from the top first, and then we'll reverse it. you want to create a bit of a fold. And for this particular exercise, I actually want you to slouch a little bit and drop your rib cage, only because it is going to help you to feel this idea of making a fold here in your stomach and your muscles. So we're going to compress, and you can actually sort of like really, it's so unattractive, but you can really stoop and lean forward for this. But we want to create a little fold. This is the roll, and then we're going to squeeze and press. So as soon as you squeeze the middle section of the belly, you actually want to start pressing the upper belly outward, and then push that roll down. So now I have a fold at the bottom. And then release everything. And think of it sort of having an elastic feeling. So you roll, 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 push, and then as you start to push in the bottom, then you're immediately going to start pulling in at the top again. Middle, lower, release, upper, middle, lower, release, up, middle, low, release, up, middle, low, release. Right, I'll turn totally to the side. It's so weird to watch this on camera. Like, it looks interesting with the belly dance costume and with the music, and without it, it just feels kind of weird. Like a little alien belly in my stomach. I'm going to turn this way for variety's sake. And we're going to try down to up now. And again, you can compress in a little bit and actually lift your pelvis, so overtuck a little bit. If you overtuck, what we want to do is create as much relaxation in the stomach as we can, and really push everything together so that we can feel it better. Once you feel it and once you get used to it, you want to make sure that you're elongating instead of contracting, because no one wants to see you dance like this. All right, but for the sake of practice, so again, let me get down here, engaging in the lower stomach, and then start to push the lower stomach out as you pull in the middle, and then push the middle as you roll up. Then you've got like the weird little scoop. This is my favorite right here. Beep, beep, beep. And then you're going to push up. This is why you need to be able to engage in the upper muscles. So as soon as you start doing that, contract in here. Contract, 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 contract. Push upward. Pull, 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 pull. Push. Pull, 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 push. And then it really starts to be sort of a sequence. So we're starting, and rather than completing it and stopping and then starting again, we want to flow. So as soon as we push through the upper belly, we're already pulling in the lower belly. Roll up, roll up, roll up, roll up. Notice I'm not using my back. And like so. So I'm also going to show you some easier ways to practice these movements. If you start sitting cross-legged, if that's comfortable, maybe with a little bit of padding underneath your hips. I like to bring my hands forward so that I can relax my upper body, because when you're sitting correctly, you're actually engaging your stomach to sit up. And I use my palms to just keep my body lifted while I relax my body. And then I lean slightly forward, and you just want to support yourself here. But in this position, you can really feel everything that's happening in the stomach. And that response really helps. Another thing that you can do, either sitting or standing, is you can use your hands, because our brain is used to sort of communicating with our hands and vice versa. For some reason, touching the body part that you want to isolate, it seems to help focus to that area and tell that part of the body what you want it to do. But so you can practice, especially for the reversal exercise, using your hands and actually physically poking yourself, going poke, 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 poke. It makes it a little bit more intuitive. And the last thing, last little exercise to tip, is to come to a platform position here. Relax the stomach. And then you're using gravity, and you can isolate the different parts of the stomach. So we've got lower, middle, upper. And then we can try rolling everything together. Oh no, it's my cat again. Pito, you're ruining my videos. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope that you found this tutorial helpful. Please be sure to like the video if it was helpful, subscribe to my channel for more, and definitely leave a comment if you have any questions. I'll see you in my next